Hello, guys, and welcome back to Classroom Reimagined. It's your girl, Mari, caffeinated, slightly overprepared, and ready to talk about co-teaching with the kind of group that makes you say, Lord, give me strength, and maybe a second prep period. Today, we're diving into a small group case study that includes a little bit of everything: intellectual disabilities, dyslexia, emotional behavioral needs, and it's basically the sampler platter of special education for a first grade class. Let's dive in. So, first things first, choosing a framework before you lose your mind. That is essential. And we need to find a system that can stretch further than these leggings that I wore during COVID or even right now during this segment. So, here comes the first rollout: universal design for learning. It's flexible, it's predictable, it doesn't judge you where you're at, and it's basically the therapy friend or instructional frameworks. UDL, or Universal Design for Learning, lets us plan one lesson instead of playing instructional whack-a-mole with four different levels of needs. Ryan can access it. Silvan, she can access it. Ixlet can decrypt literacy without feeling like he's personally being attacked by English. And Russell, well, UDL gives us enough structure that he won't flip a desk when he gets overwhelmed. It's a win-win. The beauty of you the beauty of UDL in the classroom is that it designs instruction so that all students, regardless of your disabilities, backgrounds, and learning styles, can access it and succeed in the learning. It's a plan for everyone from the start, not a fix later. So basically, there's multiple ways to gain information. In the classroom, it might look like a teacher modeling on the board with visual diagrams, short videos, anchor charts, but it might also look like providing audio versions of readings in either another language or someone's native tongue with a side-by-side comparison in English. Giving students vocabulary cards with icons or visualizations so that way they're able to really enhance their learning and understanding. Utilizing real objects, manipulatives like fraction tiles, maps, models, whatever the case may be. The bottom line is to ensure that students have more than one way to understand the lesson. That is the focus for universal design for learning. The activity: compare the creatures. So, what are we actually going to do with these kids? I'm glad you asked, because this activity was inspired by my love for animals and my students' love for anything that doesn't involve writing a full paragraph. So, we're doing compare the creatures. We'll show them three animals, some visuals, a short video or two, and an informational text that is so simple it basically has a one sentence per page. Then students figure out which animal is the best adapted for survival scenario. You know, Hunger Games, but make it science and school appropriate. Higher order thinking, check. Accessible, check. Chaos content, hopefully check. But strategies and accommodation, let's call that our survival kit, is based on multisensory everything: drawing, sorting, verbal responding, pointing, dragging, tapping. If a kid could do it without running away from the table, we're basically going to allow it. More than allow, we're going to welcome it. Okay. And if you're able to gamify it, even better. This helps everyone. Dyslexia, supported. Intellectual impairment, supported. Teacher sanity, also supported. Strategy two is micro chunks and pre-teaching vocabulary. Because if we don't break the task into tiny pieces and pre-teach the hard words, Russell might end up under the desk doing his best impression of endangered species, guys. Okay. And honestly, I can relate. Sometimes I want to hide under the desk too, or even sometimes just flip them. Okay. So, what this might look like is the day before you build this into your big lesson. You want to expose these kids to those vocabulary visualizations. You want to do a mental check in. Hey, heads up, this is what we're going to do in class. You have time during advisory to swing by. I'll help prep you. And you build the confidence within your teens, within your classmates, within your students, to ensure that they are confident prior to this huge collaborative group effort. So that way they're able to come in with an idea, but most importantly, snowball in their confidence. If the setting changes, online, hybrid, multi-age, whatever the case may be, what if we're going hybrid or God forbid multi-age? I got you. Because teaching has taught me one thing. Always have a plan B, a plan C, and a plan, Lord, just don't just take the wheel. Online, you want to break activities into bite-sized slides. Add audio directions, even use Nearpod Pear Deck so you can actively see who is participating and who's just pretending to listen. You want to build brain breaks so that Russell and other students similar to him do not combust, but most importantly, you want to provide room for them to kind of take lead in instruction. Open the door for these breakout groups, assign a leader who can record to submit what's going on in those groups and give them those conversations ahead of time to think about, to process, so that when they jump into the group, they know exactly who's going to go first and when they're going to say it. In hybrid, we're moving station to station. It's like a target run. Everybody has a job, everyone has expectations, but nobody escapes. If there's multi ages in a classroom, which I have experienced, younger students can match pictures, older students justify survival strategies, teachers just pray for patience, okay? But I wouldn't even just look at it at multi-age. I would look at it based on homogeneous group and based on abilities. And I would even take those higher leads and insert them into those lower level groups so that way they're able to lead by example. UDL says the same thing. The how shifts based on survival and hours. Okay. So technology that won't betray you, hopefully, depending on what the internet is like or the weather, wherever you're located. You already know I don't mess with text unless it actually helps me get kids engaged. These tools help us monitor kids in real time. Nearpod, Pear Deck, Google Slides if you don't want to get too crazy. Google Word documents. If you don't want to get too crazy, again, you can actively see who is doing what, the time that they're doing it, the changes that they're making it, and so forth, which is essential when you only have one student drawing, one decoding, one sorting, and one trying to climb under the table or on top. It lets me see exactly who's confused, who is thriving, and who's about to emotionally combust, and who actually drew a dinosaur eating in the entire class. Which honestly, respect, dude. This is basically literacy life support, read it loud, speech to text tools for students like Josh Lit and students who can express more verbally than in writing. Also, it's very helpful for me when I am tired and I don't want to read directions out loud for the 307th time. So, let's stop and think about this. At the end of the day, the goal is to group simple, give them access, give them dignity, give them learning that feels possible, not punishing. And if we can laugh once or twice during the lesson planning, even better. If we can gamify it, even better. Teaching isn't easy, but UDL, good co-teaching, and the right accommodations make it feel a whole lot more doable. And honestly, when your students succeed, especially the ones who have been told they couldn't, there's nothing like it. So keep that in mind. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Go drink some water, fix your posture, and plan something fun for your students. I'll see you in the next episode.